Yo, what's up, Sean?
Mo, what's going on, bud? How are you today?
Good, good, good. I like your office, bro.
Oh, thanks. Well, I'm in the sunroom today. I think this is where I'm actually going to set my office up. I was down in the basement this morning, and it's just still a little bit loud with my daughter and my mother-in-law, and my wife works from home, obviously,
Right.
from the bank. So
Yeah,
there's
that's
just,
what I was thinking. I thought this was a sunroom, but I wasn't so
yeah,
sure.
this is it here. I got my little hot tub over there.
Oh, look at you, Sean. You could just.
So I'm going to have to make a little bit of changes, but I mean, this is a little more better for me. I can concentrate more. I'm by myself. All that I hear is some birds and airplanes and my neighbor, but I don't hear that constant what's going on up there or there. You know what I mean?
Right. I think it's good. You got a change of scenery all the time.
Paul, how's it going? Sabrina, how are you guys today? Everything's going well for you guys so far?
Yeah, not too bad. Just kind of trying to get EAP down to a T, and then I think I'll be good to go. But I just need to be able to be smooth with it.
Right. I hear
I
you
don't feel
there.
like I'm there yet. So
Right. Everybody's progress comes differently. You know what I mean? We all have different schedules. You have things to attend to.
yeah,
I mean, that's everyone's life's different. But if you always, each one of us stays on our own career path goal, we will all hit it. We might not
Yeah.
all hit it together, but we're all going to get there. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And that's all we got to remember at the end of the day. You might not have been where you wanted to yesterday, but tomorrow's always different. And you make that best of it, man. Just keep on going, Paul.
Couldn't
That's
agree
what I'm
more.
saying. Like, I'm working from home. I got a full-time job. It may be a little bit longer for me, but that extra week or two I may take, that's just going to be that better road to success. But everybody's going to make it, man. And that's all we can do is just keep on going, right?
Let's go,
Love it.
Sean.
That's right, my man.
Enrique, my man's got the hat on. He's ready to roll. How you doing, Enrique?
I'm doing good, Mo. How about yourself?
I'm good. I like the hat, bro. How's
Thanks.
everything? How's everything going? How's training going and the calls and appointments, everything?
Yesterday was kind of rough with the calls. We didn't have a lot of people pick up, especially because we don't have no new leads. So they
Right.
know our number and stuff. So we had to figure out how to reach out to them with the different numbers and stuff like that. But it's all about tactics and patience.
Right. I hear you, my man. Like phone calls can be sometimes really like brutal, bro. Somebody picks up the phone, they just cuss at you and they just
Oh,
hang
yeah.
up. So
You threaten
unnecessary,
to call
bro.
cops on you.
Right. I hear you. How you doing, Takira?
I'm doing good, Mo. How are you?
I'm
Doing
good.
all right?
Yeah, I'm doing great. I see you changed your setup back there.
Yeah, I'm actually in a hotel room.
Oh, you traveling to Chicago or something, or?
No, I mean, I'm from Chicago. It's just they're doing some renovations at my apartment.
Wow.
So it's really noisy and stuff. So had to change
Wow.
sceneries.
Right. I mean, that's how you do it. That's commitment right there. Go to a hotel
Yeah.
just to have that comfortable place to work from. I like that, Takira. Sabrina, it's your turn. How you doing? I don't want to leave you out. How you doing? How's everything going for you?
It's going good.
Yeah?
I didn't get my e-app yet. It was like some weird thing saying I didn't have authorization to it.
Oh
So-
yeah. Yeah. I think that's got something to do with your, I don't know, like a GA or RGA or something.
Yeah, Jay's looking into it and we're gonna fix it. So
Right, gotcha. Well, it was good to hear from you, Sabrina. Hope you're doing well.
What's
Now,
up, guys?
next, Gabby.
Can
What's
you hear
up,
me?
Tommy? How you doing?
Mo, what's going on?
What's
How's it
up? What's
going?
up?
Hey, Tommy.
Is that your
Sir.
house, Tommy?
Yes, sir.
How long you been there?
Speaking of a change of scenery, I figured I'd come out here. I was in my office this morning,
Yeah.
and I figured I'd just change the scenery up a little bit. So
I
we
hear
just
you, man.
moved in. We just moved in last weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, it's a beautiful house you got there.
Yeah. I'll
Do you
show
wanna-
you. Give
do
you
you
a
wanna
little tour.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you.
All right. So this is just the porch deck area here. I'm just sitting out here, but here's what I'm looking at.
My man.
There you go. And that's nice.
All right. All right, Tommy, that just got me pumped up for the year, bro.
This is where I'm doing my calls now. This is 12 years in the game.
Yes, sir.
You get residual income, $22,000 a month.
What is this, like a golf course or something?
Yeah, there's a golf course over there. There's a big lake. This lake goes into a bunch more lakes. And
Wow.
there's a golf. We bike on the golf cart path. I don't know if you're allowed to do that. Then you can sit by the fire, by the water. You know.
Bro,
And
you
they're coming on Friday to open up the pool. There's like a slide, a big rock slide on the pool over there.
Yes, sir. Tommy, you got to throw some bangers out here, man. Once everybody becomes an SA, how about that?
Yeah, leadership, man. We're having definitely gonna have parties out here, man.
Let's do it, man. You got a grill too over there, I see.
Yeah, they left this grill for me. It's the best Weber grill on the market.
Wow.
You know about Weber grills?
Yeah. I've seen the ads on YouTube and stuff, and it's looking pretty good, man.
This thing's badass.
Probably has a
Ridiculous.
searing burner on the side there. And
Yeah, got everything, man. Yeah.
Well, thank you for the tour, Tommy.
Yeah, there's like a little chill room there. The kitchen's there. Bedroom's up there. Living room's right here. You can see the living room.
So you sold your house back in Pittsburgh and got this one, or you have both?
Sold the house in Pittsburgh and got this one.
Oh, look at that. Little Tommy's there.
Yeah. You just look right out here.
Man, it's a beautiful house, bro. You don't have a TV in over here?
Well, there's a TV right there, and there's a TV right there.
Oh.
Inside those little things. You can close them up though and hide them.
Oh,
Also,
gotcha.
the guy's gonna come this week and put one up there, and then we'll have one here and one in there. So there'll be five TVs right here.
5 TVs, whoa.
What town is that in?
This is in North Barrington.
Okay,
Yeah.
very nice.
Yeah, that's it. It takes a while to give a tour of the house. Usually I tell the kids, I'm like, you know what, Tommy, go take them on a tour. You walk around it enough. But yeah, so that's where we're doing the meetings out here. And that's what you guys can do, which is cool. Like, you can do your meetings from wherever, whenever. You know, Ryan Wilson, he's on vacation, and he went to Panera to pick up breakfast, and he also wrote a deal at Panera, you know, like 8 o'clock in the morning, didn't miss a beat. So that's the cool thing. Before, we didn't have the luxury to do that. So anyways, today we'll talk about proactively handling rebuttals. Okay. So proactively, not reactively. So you have to basically build into your presentation parts and ways and techniques and scripts and things to say that you're going to handle the rebuttal before they give it to you, so that they don't give it to you. So I'm going to teach us today 3 areas of the presentation where we can be proactive in beating the top 3 rebuttals that we get. Okay. So the top 3 rebuttals you're going to get, because, you know, in the presentation, we have to cause a problem. We have to not cause a problem, because the problem already exists. Okay. When you go meet with a client, guys, the problem is already there. You just need to show them the problem, make them aware of the problem. Okay. Because they need to be sold that there is a problem. That makes sense? The clients need to be sold. They need to believe and understand. They need to understand, and they need to believe. They need to be sold and buy and believe there is a major problem going on here. Because the bigger the problem it is, the more important the solution is going to be, right? So a lot of people think, like, what do we got to sell? We got to sell what? Life insurance, right? We got to sell. Life insurance is the solution. Life insurance is the solution, guys. We don't need to sell the solution. They don't care about the solution unless they know there's a problem and they actually believe it's a real, true problem. I heard someone say that, they say like, that would be walking around trying to sell you 4. Like 4? Why do I need 4? Well, because you've got a problem. Your problem is 2 plus 2. They don't care what 4 is unless they know that there's 2 plus 2 is the problem. 4 doesn't mean anything. That makes sense? Doesn't mean anything. Okay, so what I say is, we have to be professional problem solvers. PPS. Professional problem solvers. If you can provide a solution, okay, what level are you providing these solutions? Is it an amateur level solution? Is it a average level of a solution? Or are you providing professional problem solving? Amateur problem solving, average problem, or professional problem solving? What level? Because that's really the name of the game that we're in, and that's kind of determine your paycheck. If you're only solving amateur problems and you're solving them at an amateur level, that's why you're making amateur money. If you're solving some average problems and you're doing it at an average level, you make some average money. But if you can solve some major problems, but you could do it at a professional level, some people solve problems like this problem is life insurance. If you can solve it at professional, you make professional income. All right. So we're not necessarily professional problem causers, but we need to be professional problem solvers. Do you guys like people that cause problems? Who likes a problem causer? You don't like problem causers in your life, right? And I don't want us to be problem causers. I want us to be problem solvers. Now, when you think about a problem causer, or the clients that we meet with, when we meet with our clients, we are not causing any problems when we get there. Okay. The problem already existed before we got there. We just have to point it out to the client and show them what's really going on. Because before you got there, listen, guys, you have a 45-year-old man, 38-year-old man with a wife and kids, and he's the only income that they have. She might work part-time. She's a lunch lady at the school. So if before you got there, let's say he passed away, she would have to pay for a funeral cost. There'd be no income coming into the household. All the debts that they would have would fall onto her, right? Did you cause that problem, guys? That problem existed before we got there. Did they see the problem though? No way. When they're eating dinner at nighttime, are the clients sitting there saying, hey guys, so what are we gonna do when dad dies? Is that dinner time conversation? No. In the mornings when they wake up and they're brushing their teeth, they're like, you know what, I'm gonna start my day out thinking? I'm gonna start my day thinking about what if I died? What are my family gonna? No, they're not thinking that. You think they're thinking it before they go to bed? They don't want to go to bed on that. During the day, when you're working, when you're driving to work and you got all kind of stuff going on and major, just is like people are calling you, you're driving, you got to figure this out. Your son got practice tonight. Who's going to make the dinner? You're figuring this out. Nobody thinks about it. There's only 3 times people ever stop to think about life insurance, right? There's 3 times. Does everybody know there's 3 times? Right? The first time that you're going to think about life insurance is when you're at a funeral. When someone close to you passes away, this is when you're going to think about it. The second time you're going to think about it is if you have a near-death experience. If your health falls, if you're spending time in the hospital and something happens to you personally, you're going to think about it. And the third time they're going to think about it is when we talk to them. That's the only other time they're really going to stop and think about it, is when we're talking to them about it. Now, if they're at a funeral, there's nothing they can do about it. Then they can think about it, but they don't have nobody to talk to, and they can't make it. If they have a near-death experience, it's probably too late. The best time for them to think about it is when they're with them, because we can actually help them do something about it, right? So I'm a plumber. I'm a plumber, and I walk into someone's house, right? And I go, hey, can you go get me a glass of water, or something? And they're like, oh, sure, wait here. And while they get me the glass of water, I walk over to the pipes and I like go behind the wall and I break the pipe real quick and I come back, right? I'm walking around and I'm like, you know what? You probably can't see it, but there's like a leak over here if you look behind this wall, right? You know what I did? I went in and I caused a problem, right? That's a problem causer. Well, we're not doing that, okay? We're not doing it. We walk into their home, it's like you're a plumber. They have a leak, right? And if they don't believe that it's a real problem, they're not going to do anything about it. So number one, we have to show them the leak. Number two, we have to show them how even if it's something small right now, it's not that big of, but over time, if they don't fix it, it's going to ruin the foundation of their house. They're going to have to rip their whole house down, right? So we have to make a problem a problem. They got to be sold. They got to believe that, oh, wow, I guess that's not really just a small little drip. I guess that's a real major problem. Like he says, if we don't get this fixed, we're going to have to put a new foundation in and they're going to have to rip the whole house down. Start all over again. We could fix a small little leak now for $20 a week, right? Or you're going to spend $200,000 rebuilding the whole house. So I know sometimes it feels like you can't afford $20 a week now, but could you imagine how she's going to be able to afford $200,000 and you're not even here? It's a lot easier. What they found, it's a lot easier that if we have, but if the husband and wife are here together, it's a lot easier for both of us to come up with $20 a week now than it's going to be for her to have to come up with, let's say, $200,000 and she's all by herself, right? So sometimes it feels like we can't afford it, but it's a lot easier. And they said you can't really afford not to have it in place. So just some side note, thoughts on how you should be thinking about positioning our product and the cost of it, really at the end of the day. So the philosophy on this, guys, is is we have to be able to, number one, sell the problem, not the solution. That's the first thing. Okay. After that, we have to understand now the philosophy behind proactively beating the rebuttals. Okay. Just know this. If a client says that they are not buying something from you for any reason, so at the end, they say, you know what? Everything sounds good, but we need to think about it. We're not going to enroll today. We need to think about it. Well, guess what, guys? As soon as the client says those words, they just breathe life into that idea. They put those words out into the universe, right? What we want to avoid them words ever getting out. We want to avoid them words getting out into the universe and circulating. We don't want, because now as a person, if you say something, you're going to be naturally inclined to back it up and prove your point. So I'd rather them not say it. Because if someone goes like this, well, we just really need to think about it. And you're going to try and, finesse and massage your way back in there and reactively handle that rebuttal. Okay. And we're going to do our best to reactively and kind of fight back and forth and agree with them and say, I understand how you feel like you need to think about it. However, and you're going to keep going back, but we need to get you enrolled today. And however, we need to make sure you get your foot in the door while you're healthy, while you're, able to afford it, while you're healthy and while you're young. And we'll lock your foot in the door. You're going to try everything you can reactively to get it back in there. But you know what they're going to be inclined to do the whole time is be like, I told you, I need to think about it. I need to think about it. If I say something, I mean it. Like I'm a man of my word. My wife is sitting right next to me and I just told you I need to think about it. So they're going to sit there and try and fight you the whole time to prove why they really need to think about it. And you're going to try and fight with them and, sell them on why they don't need to think about it. But they're going to try and, because they said it, they need to back it up. Does that make sense, guys? So the whole point of what I'm trying to communicate here is we need to avoid them to not say it. We don't want them to say it is the key. Okay. But if they do say it, I need to have a reactive approach to handling it as well. So I have to make sure that I have my rebuttals down. I can't afford it. I want to think about it. You got to have those 2 rebuttals down. And I'll tell you what, you might not even say some of the verbiage in there at the end. You're going to need it because you need that verbiage throughout. It's just this fire verbiage that you're going to need to have at your disposal. Okay. Don't be afraid to repeat yourself as well. But let me get back to it. So if the guy tells you, I can't afford it, the wife says, we can't afford this. Well, she just told it to you. She told it to her husband. She said it to everybody out there who's listening, everybody in the universe. She's going to feel inclined to back that up and to prove that they can't afford it. So what we got to do is we have to proactively handle these rebuttals so that it reduces them from saying that. We're always going to get a couple every now and then. But if you can, it's like, at the end of the fight, they're going to be throwing a right hand and a left hand. They're going to be throwing the I want to think about it, and they're going to be throwing the I can't afford it, right? Those are the 2. So during the fight, all you do is you tie this behind their back, tie this behind their back. Now at the end, they can't rebuttal nothing. They gotta enroll. There's no rebuttals to throw because you beat this rebuttal and you beat this rebuttal throughout your presentation, so that at the end they couldn't even really say the rebuttal because you already handled it proactively. Is this making sense, guys? Everything we can do in this business is extremely proactive. If you have the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, literally will change the game for you. Change the game for your life. I mean, you only got so much time to live.
What is it again? 7 Habits of what?
Highly effective people. And I'm glad that you asked because I like to repeat that portion of it. 7 habits of what? Highly effective people. We only have 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week. Some people get massive results with that time. They're very effective and they're very efficient. And some people have the same amount of time and they get nothing done. You're like, what did you do this week? Anything productive? Right? And then some people are building rocket ships to go to the moon and back untouched. Like, how are they getting all that done? So there's principles to this kind of stuff and habits that you just can form over time by practicing them. And one of the habits of highly effective people are they are proactive. They're proactive, not reactive, right? So yeah, you can definitely just read that chapter, check up on that book. It's a great, I mean, you're gonna have to read it a couple times.
7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yep, by Stephen Covey. By Stephen Covey. I actually got to go hear him speak one time at a college. I drove 2 hours to go hear him speak at a college one time.
Would you
He's the man.
recommend the guided journal and the book?
You know what? That's actually, I think when I went to hear him speak, that's what they gave us was the guided journal
Yeah.
to go along with it. I don't know. I don't know exactly what you're looking at, but I'm sure that can't hurt. You know, but that's more of a read. I feel like some books are more of a listen, some books are more of a read, and some books are both.
Because
All
I have this book called The High Performance Habits by Brandon Burchard. It's almost the same thing. It talks about like 7 habits as well.
There you go, habits. There you go, talking about the habits. Yeah, Brandon Burchard. Yeah, I think I have a book by him as well. Yes. I don't know if the 7 habits in there are the same 7 habits that Stephen Covey addresses. Stephen Covey's is very scientific and meticulous, and he talks about at the beginning of your life, you're very dependent. Would you guys agree? When you're a baby, you're pretty dependent, right? But he says that as you get older, you fight. Like my kid today, he actually wanted to buy himself for the cereal, right? I was gonna do it for him. He said, no, let me do it. Why? Because he wants to be what, guys? Independent. So it's one stage of your life you're dependent, but slowly you work your way. You know, when you're 18, you get to move out of the house and really become independent. You know, but once you're there, he says there's another stage where it becomes interdependence. And some people never get there because they don't know how to work with others. And they don't understand the value of working with others. Sure, you might be able to move faster alone, but you can move further with others. Probably heard that before. So that's what he talks about, the 3 stages in that book, you know, and different stages, there's different habits and stuff that you can learn and develop. It takes a long time to master that book. Man, when you do, it's your life. So you're going to be a much more efficient and much more effective person. You'll be able to navigate and just kind of smooth through life a little bit quicker. You know, you'll be in the fast lane a little bit more. But obviously it's not the end all be able to so much more stuff. But being proactive is what I want to talk about. So the 3 spots of the presentation I'm going to go over. Okay. And afterwards, I'm going to go over Steve Greer's steps to handling a rebuttal. Steve Greer is the CEO of our company. And about 6 years ago, when he was still an SGA, he was a state director, okay, for Texas, for Houston, Texas. So he's a state director down in Houston, Texas. He was crushing it. He became the state director of the year. And it was time for our CEO to retire. So AIL was founded by Bernard Rappaport. He owned the company all the way up to the mid-90s. He was the CEO. He sold the company to Torchmark Corporation, which is now Globe. So he sold the company to Globe and still remained the CEO for a number of years. Then he passed the torch to Roger Smith, finally. Roger Smith was the CEO for a long time, good 20 some years. And then Roger Smith passed the torch recently over to Steve Greer about 5 years ago. And right before Steve Greer became CEO, he was a state director, rocking it with the company. And I remember that I met with him on a training. and he did training for me and a couple of our leaders. And one of the trainings that he did was he taught us a system that he uses that's easy to learn, and it's real easy to teach to other people and implement and do, you know. So he taught that to us, and I've been teaching it and practicing it ever since, and I added it to our repertoire, guys. So I'm going to teach us first how to proactively handle the rebuttals. Then I'm going to teach us how to use Steve Greer's method if we ever do get hit with the rebuttal, how to reactively come back around and smoothly just still transition into assuming the sale. You know, just know, you know, at the end, we practice more of an assumptive type of close, an assumptive method at the end. So this will just slide right into it. All right. So let's talk about our presentation. You guys ready? All right, everybody should be pretty in tune with their presentation right now. So at the beginning of the presentation, you're going to hop on Zoom, or if you're in person, you know, you'll walk into the home and you'll sit down at the kitchen table. You'll build some rapport. You'll explain to them why we're there. Okay. So this is a part I call it why we're there. When you explain to the client why we're there, you know, you're also beating a rebuttal that they're potentially can give you, which is, I don't need it. One of the three rebuttals is I can't afford it, I want to think about it, and I don't need it. Those are the three rebuttals. I can't afford it, I want to think about it, and I don't need it. Now, most of the time, if they tell you they don't need it, they're telling you they don't need it because they feel like they already have it covered, right? And why do they think that they have it covered already, guys? Is because, go ahead.
I mean, it'd probably be because they're already making payments. They're paying for it already.
Yeah, that's right. That could be one.
They already think it's set up by their employer. They already got the benefits handled through their job. So they're like, I got it, you know?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You guys hit the nail on the head. Both of those numbers are pretty much correct. Both of your answers are. Number one reason why people feel like they don't need it is because they already have it. And the number one reason why people think they already have it, but they don't, is because they have it through work. Oh, I don't need that. I already got that stuff through work. I already got it covered through work. And you know what? I think I actually pay for it. And out of their bank, like when they get paid every week or every other week, it takes out like $3, you know, or $5 or something. And they think because they're paying $5 or $10 a month for some group term coverage that their family is protected. Okay. Let's just talk about group term coverage for a second. Right? There's like there's like the three little pigs. You know the three little pigs, guys? So the three little pigs that they build a house of straw, stick, and brick. Okay. Group term coverage is like the straw house that the little pigs built. Would you trust to have your family safe in that house? Of course not. Group term coverage pays out 1% of the time. So if you take everybody that has group term coverage through work, 1% of them people, 1 out of 100, actually that money ever gets paid out to them. Statistically, that's the facts. So if you're a betting person, would you bet on something that won 1% of the time? Would you go to the casino and bet on that? Now, we're not talking betting $5 here. We're talking betting with our family's livelihood. So 1% is not good chances. The second reason why group term coverage typically isn't adequate is because it usually doesn't cover enough. Usually group term coverage will cover a family for 10, 20, 50,000, or you'll get what's called 1 times your salary. 1 times the salary they'll get. Typically what happens is group term coverage is paid with pre-tax dollars. So all of you guys got your license recently. If premiums are paid with pre-tax dollars, the benefit is paid what?
Text.
Taxable, you got it. If premiums are paid with after-tax dollars, the benefit is paid what? Tax-free. Premiums paid with pre-tax dollars means I never paid taxes on the money that I'm paying these premiums for, right? So if I don't pay taxes on the money that I pay the premiums for, when I pass away, when the benefit gets paid out, that's going to get paid out taxable to my family. If your company pays for the life insurance for you, 99 times out of 100, they're paying for it with pre-tax dollars. Why? Because the company wants to use that as a write-off. So the company will pay for everybody's life insurance, but they'll write it off, which means they never pay taxes on the premiums. So therefore, when we pass away, the benefit gets paid taxable to the family. So not only is it only paying out 1% of the time, if it does pay out, it's typically 10,000 or 20,000, maybe 50 or 1 times your salary. But then on top of that, if you are getting 50 grand, that's also going to be fully taxed as what? Income. Fully taxed as income to the beneficiary as well. So that's your straw house. So then the piggies run over to what? What's next? Come on, you guys got to know it. Gabby, you know it. It's the stick house, right? 3 little pigs. They go from the straw house to the stick house. Well, the stick house, you know what that is? That's your individual term coverage. That's the term coverage that you got on yourself. You went out and purchased your own individual term policy that you pay for. Chances are you're paying for that with your after-tax dollars. You get paid, they take your taxes out, the money goes into your bank account, the money that's in your checking account, now you pay for your life insurance with that. After-tax premiums. Therefore, when you pass away, that money gets paid to your family tax-free. So you could take your own term policy out for $100,000 for the next 20 years and pay $30 a month for it or something. Like, you can do that. The chances of those paying out, 3%. 3% of term policies pay out. Individual ones that I own. Most people work for a career. What's the average company work? People work for 3 years, 3 to 5 years or something like that. It's the average stay that someone will stay at a company or a job. 3 to 5 years. So if I'm here for 3 years and then I leave, guess what happens to all my life insurance there? Goes away, right? So they're not going to go get a new job. Hopefully they have benefits there. I don't even know if they have benefits. Oh, wait, I get them, but I have to be there for a year to get them, you know? So we deal with all that. So that's why group term doesn't pay out that high. It's not really ever in place when you die. And do you think you're going to be, are you going to die before or after 65? Hopefully after. Well, are you going to be working after 65? Hopefully not. So I'm not working after 65. All my life insurance goes away, and then I pass away. Does that make sense, guys? That's what happens. That's the problem right now. Most of our members have group term coverage. Guys, you know that. And you know that like the steel workers, okay, the steel workers, they have group term coverage. And guess what? When they retire, they're going to lose it. And then if they pass away, guess what's paid to the family? Nothing. Guess who knows all this? Guess who knows all this, guys? The president. That's why they're the president of the steelworkers, because they know this type of stuff, right? Guess who also has the same problem? The Teamsters, Coca-Cola. There's a company down the street. This guy, he has a machine shop. They make bumpers for cars. He has 16 employees in there. Guess what? He got the same problem. They all got group coverage, but when they retire, they're going to lose the group coverage. And when they pass away, their family's going to get no money paid out to them. That's a problem.
That's what it seems like all the companies that come into our work, whenever they come to sell us, you know, obviously policy through the, whoever the company provides, it's company provided benefits. If you want whole term, you got to specifically ask for that because they're only giving you term prices. You know what I mean? So if you don't ask the proper questions whenever we were sitting there, you got stuck with what you bought, you know?
Well, that's the problem, guys. And the president of the organization knows about this. So that's why the president signs up to work with our company. It's like, say, hey, American Income Life, we only have group term coverage. So we need you guys to provide our members with guaranteed permanent life insurance so that no matter what, if they quit, get fired, retire, leave an organization, they could be on the other side, 99 years old, on the other side of the planet in Alaska. It don't matter wherever they're at, however they pass away, this is going to be guaranteed to take care of their families. That's why they contract through us to make sure that their members never have to worry about being burdened with that for their families. Does that make sense, guys? So this is a long way of me breaking it down for us, but I want us to understand this, okay? And then, you know, I got to finish the analogy and I'll keep it moving. All right. So we got the straw house is what? Group term. The stick house, individual term that I went out. I bought a 20-year term policy, 10-year term policy for myself. The brick house is whole life. Straw is term, straw is group term, stick is term, brick is whole life. Brick isn't going away, no matter what. The whole life is going to be there, guaranteed, forever, no matter what. You never have to worry about that. The percentage of whole life policy that gets paid out, 100%. They're free. It's your whole life. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So there's like a trick question you could even say. You could say, so, you know, Joe married it. Now, for your coverage, your life insurance, how long do you need to keep this in place for? What do you think the answer to that is? It's like a trick question for your whole life, obviously. So, okay. So, the first part of the presentation is when we explain to the client why we are there. We are going to proactively handle, I don't need it. Okay. So here's pretty much, should be in your script. You should have this, you know, here's how you pretty much want to break it down. So you built some rapport with the client, and then you're going to say, so Joe and Mary, you know, let me just explain to you, why we're here today. Your president, John Smith, whatever the president's name is, make sure you know it if it's a union for sure. You know, your president, Darla Johnson, contracted through our company to provide you and all the members with guaranteed permanent life benefits. And as you know, you may have group coverage through your employer right now. But one of the biggest problems and concerns that they're running into is what happens whenever you leave your organization. What typically happens to your benefits if you left? Let's say that you quit, get fired, or retire. What happens to your life insurance? That's right, it goes away. And Joe, Mary, that was a problem and a concern that they had for you and all the members. So what they did, they contracted through our company, American Income Life, to make sure that you and all the members had guaranteed permanent life benefits, so that no matter what, they would be in place forever. So today, my job is to make sure I go over your benefits with you and answer any questions. So please feel free to stop and ask me any questions along your way. This is your benefit. This is your enrollment period. And if it makes sense, what would I say? If it makes sense today, then we're going to make sure that we get you enrolled into your permanent life insurance, and we'll make sure we get all of your American Income Life paperwork taken care of for you. So have you ever heard, probably never really heard of our company. We don't do any advertising at all, which is a great benefit to everyone, this quick video is going to give you a little update on our company and who we are and how we get to work with you and your organization today. So press play, and I play in the intro video. So that's my slide in at the beginning. So at the beginning, you hop on, talk to them, build up our company a little bit, build some rapport with the client, and then explain to them why we are there. Just like I went over there, right? Let me just break down for you why we're here. Your president, Darla Johnson, she contracted through our company, American Income, to make sure that you and all the members have guaranteed permanent life benefits. As with your company, you guys have group term life and group term benefits. And if you were to ever leave the company or the organization, the concern and the problem they're running into is what typically happens with those benefits. Let's say you quit, get fired, or retire. Joe, Mary, what typically happens to your benefits if you ever leave your company? That's right, they go away, right? That was a problem. That was a big concern, especially for members who are reaching retirement, because now they've been with a company for all these years. They're 65, 70 years old. They finally retire, and now they need the benefits the most, and they just lost all their benefits. So if our members are in their late 60s or 70s and they're trying to get benefits at that point, well, you could understand, what typically happens to the cost of insurance when you get older. It typically goes up, right? So that's a big concern, because a lot of our members, they're on fixed income, and it's tough for them to be able to afford and add, high bills and things at that point. So it's tough. And then the second thing is what typically happens to a lot of people's health as they get older is a lot of times it goes down. So some members might have pretty serious health issues by then, to where they can have all the money in the world, but they can't qualify because of health issues. Because really, to get benefits these days, it's not really money that gets you the benefits. Your health buys the benefits for you. That's how you buy into benefits. But once your health buys you in, you're locked in forever. Yeah, you use money to pay for it. Money pays for it, but you could have all the money in the world and you can't buy into it because your health gets you in. So we have members that reach their 65, 70, finally retire. They lose all their coverage. Now they need to go out and get it on their own. And A, it's too expensive, and B, some of them can't even qualify, which was a major problem, a serious concern. So that's why they have us meet with all the members today, making sure that they have their guaranteed permanent life benefits set up for them. So I'll go through all that with you today, Joe and Mary. If you have any questions, this is your service period. Feel free to stop and ask me. If it makes sense at the end and you're able to, I'll help, but make sure you get enrolled into your permanent life benefits. We'll have all your American Income Life paperwork taken care of, so you don't got to worry about that. But I'm sure you probably really haven't heard of our company. We don't do any advertising. You won't see us in a billboard, TV commercial. We're not on the Super Bowl or nothing like that. Our company has more life insurance in place than Aflac and Geico combined. We're the largest life insurance provider in the United States of America, but you won't see us on anywhere because we don't waste money on advertising, okay? Other companies, they spend hundreds of millions of dollars on advertising for billboards, commercials, NASCARs, little critters to run across your screen during the Super Bowl. At the end of the day, Joe and Mary, who really pays for all that advertising? The policyholders, the clients. If you have if you have an insurance company, that where do you think they're getting the money from? From the clients. We take all that money that other companies essentially waste on advertising and things like that, and we put them right back into our programs. And we make sure that our members are able to take advantage of the absolute best benefits at the absolute best rates. So that's why we've been servicing and working with these organizations. We work with over 40,000 different unions, credit unions, and associations worldwide for the past 70 years. You know, and they all have financial advisors that double and triple check the benefits that we provide just to make sure that they are the best that are out there and available to all the members. So this quick little video, this will just break down for you our company and explain to you kind of who we are and what we're all about. And boom, I press play and I play the introduction video.
That was smooth how you added that in there about the financial advisors checking out to make sure everything is top notch, which, hey, we're rated A+ because of that 70 years of service, commitment, and honor to the customer. That was good. That was real good.
Yeah, man. So that would be the beginning right there. Okay. But what did we proactively beat, guys? We proactively beat, okay, that I don't need it because I have coverage through work. You're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Actually, your president contracted us because you have coverage through work. That's actually the problem. Like, that's why Darla Johnson enrolled you guys into this program and gave you access to it, is because you have group coverage. That was the problem. That's the reason why we're here. Like, the reason why we're here is because you have group term coverage. Right? So they're trying to tell you, oh, I don't need it because of that. You're like, no, actually, that's the reason why you need it. It's because you have group term coverage. That's why we're here, you know? So I want you guys to get that down, understand that, you know, logically, because we got to be sold and just understand that that's the problem. They're acting like it's that clients think it's the solution. They think the group term coverage through work was the answer for their family. No. That's the problem. If every company provided guaranteed permanent benefits for all their employees, our company would be out of business. We would be non-existent. We wouldn't exist. The reason that we exist is because all companies give people group coverage. That's why we exist, because they want us to go in there and help supplement and complement what they currently have going on. This is not meant to compete or replace anything you have through your employer. Your employer actually contracts through us so that it can complement and help supplement and fill in the gaps for your family. So that's good terminology when you let them know it's not meant to compete with or replace, but complement what you currently have and improve, fill in the gaps and supplement. But this will be your guaranteed permanent life insurance. You'll never have to worry ever again. So that's like, you know, the message we want to make sure we try to convey there at the beginning a little bit. You'll get better and better at it the more that you do it. So now we're going to slide through the presentation, okay? I'm going to try and keep this moving. I don't want to drag you guys on all day, okay? I want to try and end this in maybe 15 minutes or so. And this is stuff we already know, okay? So you go through your presentation, go through all the no-cost benefits, give them their accidental death benefit, give them their child safety kit, collect referrals off of that, go over their will kit, collect referrals off of that, family information guide, the AIL Plus card, find their sweet spot, find their hot buttons. If they're really interested in one thing over another, then drive it home a little bit more with that no-cost benefit. and then collect referrals off of it though. You know that they're really interested in the AIL Plus card, spend more time on that. And if they're excited about it, then they're going to be excited about getting other people excited about it. So, you know, if they're excited about the child safety kit, then I would drive that home and collect a bunch of child safe referrals. After you go through the no cost benefits, then we go into the difference between whole life and term, which you should have went over yesterday with Josh. After you fill out the needs analysis, you press the next button, and on your screen is going to pop something up. Can anybody guess what that is?
Recommended coverage?
Not yet. Not yet.
A mandatory read-off letter?
There it is. Mandatory read-off letter. You got it. So that's where we're going to pick up now. So you explain to them the difference between whole life and term. You fill out their needs analysis, get all their information in there, click next, and it pops up right on your screen, the mandatory read-off letter. Okay. This is the second place we're going to proactively beat the rebuttals. The first place was when I said, hey, let me explain to you why we're here. And we proactively beat, I don't need it. So we did that. That's number one. So we beat, I don't need it. Second rebuttal they're going to give us is, I want to think about it. I need to think about it. I want to think. So we have to beat that rebuttal. So the mandatory read-off letter is already built in, a nice way for us to systematically and just have a format to go over it with them. So what you do is you share your screen and you share the mandatory read-off letter so they can read it too. And all you say is you just say, now, please follow along as I read to you your mandatory read-off letter. And then you read that letter to them verbatim, nice and professional, nice and clean. Show them how you're a good reader. Show them how you didn't fail third grade and they could have confidence in you, okay? Right, use this as an opportunity to build the confidence that, you know, you're professional and that you can enunciate your words and say things clearly to them. Some people don't like, they think, oh, I'm just going to read it. No, I mean, this is your chance to show off a little bit. It's your chance to get them to have a little bit more confidence in you. Even though it's small, it's not that big of a crazy thing. You're just reading a letter to them, but the details will matter. So you read the letter off to them, nice and clean, nice and good, and you tell them, follow along as I go through this with you. After the letter is done being read to them, you're going to want to pull the letter down from the screen so they can look at you again. So you got a letter on the screen, you read it to them because you want them to look at the letter as you're reading it to them. After that, you don't want them looking at the letter anymore. You want them looking back at you. And this is the part where I might even like, I don't know, lean in a little bit more or just like really like look right at the camera, you know, and that's where they're going to say, so now Joe and Mary, what do I say? You after you go over to mandatory, you say, there's your mandatory read-off letter. You say, so Joe and Mary, basically what they're saying is that, you know, as I go through the benefits for you and your family, they're asking that as I go through the benefits at the end, if it makes sense for you and your family, they're going to ask you to try and enroll and qualify for the benefits today. On the flip side, if as I go through the benefits and you nod your head and you think, wow, these are great benefits and fits the need for, I could see why a lot of people are enrolling, but it doesn't fit a need for your family. Well, they're going to ask you to try and not qualify today. Okay. But either way, what they're asking though is for us to make a decision, yes or no, whether or not you want to enroll into the benefits, just in fairness to all the other members that are still waiting to enroll into the benefits. And the good thing about them though is that after I go through them for you guys and your family, after I go through these benefits, it's going to be a no-brainer for you. You're going to know one way or not whether you're going to need to enroll into the program. They just didn't want me to go through the whole program for you guys, and then you say something silly like you wanted to think about it at the end. They're just asking us to just either have a yes or no, just because this is your enrollment period. And there's so many other members still waiting to enroll into the program. Does that make sense, Joe and Mary? That makes sense. That why they want to make sure we make that decision. And I'll tell you what, at the end, what I will ask you guys, if it's okay, is if you wouldn't mind giving a quick feedback on how I did for you guys today. It would just go a long way for myself. If you could just give some feedback on how you thought I did for you and your family, with our time here today. So would you guys mind doing just a quick review if I sent you over the link for that when I'm done? Okay, great, I appreciate that. And that's my transition, that's my segue into the next thing. So that's like where I end that portion right there. After you tell them, like, hey, I don't want you to tell me I want to think about it. Don't tell me something silly like you want to think about it. I want to get a yes or no at the end. And he's kind of serious, right? Okay. So you can break that up and end with this. You say, so I want to make sure I get a yes or no. Okay, good. Yes, you got that. Now, Joe and Mary, also, just want you know, I'm going to ask for, when I wrap up here, I'm going to ask you to give me a quick review, just to give some feedback on how I did today, just to make sure I didn't hop on the call here and just sit here and just slug 16 coffees and go on, coffee, on a coffee rage and tangents the whole time with you, and so, make a joke with them if you want. I used to tell them, when I wrap up here today, I'm going to ask you guys to give me a quick review on how I did, just to make sure I didn't, drink a bunch of coffee and, run around your house like on a caffeine rage or something. I made a joke with them because it broke it up a little bit, because I was pretty serious about telling them I don't want them to think about it. So then I make a joke about the review a little bit, just to get them to lighten up. So that's the transition there. What did we just do? We just proactively handled, I want to think about it, right? Are they still going to tell us I want to think about it? Yeah, you're going to get some knuckleheads to say it, okay? But we proactively handled it up front, which is the key. Because if they tell it to us, now we can go back to where we already handled it and address it. But if you don't handle it in the meeting up front, if they give it to you in the back, you can't go back to it. So I'll get to that in a minute, but let's go over the last one, okay? Which is I can't afford it. And you're going to hit I can't afford it right after this, where you're going to say, they always make me ask, Joe, Mary, if you set aside $5 out of $100 that you took home, and you set that aside to protect your family, would that take food off your table or drastically change your lifestyle? $5? Probably not, right? So what they felt is that we should be able to take 5% of our income to protect the other 95%. Because if we don't, there's two things that are going to be guaranteed to happen: death and taxes. And I know some people who got around taxes, but I never met anyone who got around dying. So they just never wanted to show us something that we would need, but we weren't able to afford. So you don't even got to worry about the death and taxes thing, guys. That's extra. Just know this. Just know this. Ready? If you say, Joe, Mary, they always make me ask, if you were to take $5 out of every $100 that you took home and you set that aside to protect your family, would that take food off your table or drastically change your lifestyle? No, most members say it wouldn't. Well, Joe, what they just didn't want to show you something that you needed and something that you wanted, but something that you couldn't afford. That's it.
Tommy, can I say something about a possible good rebuttal to the end of that where I can't afford it?
Go ahead.
So the other day I was thinking, and if you get somebody who says, I really can't afford that, I don't know if the program's right for me. Something that I thought of is you could say, well, what a lot of our members are doing, and I'm getting really good research on, is that they're taking the benefit of the AIL discount card to their advantage. They're doing a little bit of research in the program. They're finding out where they can save that extra money on, the vision, the dental, and so on, which is letting the members receive a little bit of money back in their pocket, so they're not putting out a lot out of their pocket. You know what I mean? They're using that card adequately, where that extra savings is kind of covering some of the costs that you're doing today to invest in your family's future for your benefits.
That's great. That's a great rebuttal. And if you know how the AIL Plus card works, then you could even go a little bit further and help them. Like, be like, okay, well, who do you use for this? Who do you use for that? What's your medication for this? All right, well, you're paying 40. I could get you on 20. Over there, I could get you half off. There's $200 a year. We just saved you $300 a year right there.
Right.
And this program, is basically $600 a year. So you got half of it back. And for that, now your family's going to get $50,000. So
Correct.
we just took free money that you were already spending. We saved the money on the AIL Plus, took that money and gave it to your family. We just found you $50,000 for free, basically.
I
It
mean,
was already in your.
you could also
there.
throw in the will kit with that too, and the money they save on the will kit as well. Like you can go even further into that rebuttal and find all the other ways that they're saving with the no cost benefits.
Yeah,
Yes.
that AIL discount card, if you literally researched it a little bit, you found out, these are the providers, this in this area, this is what's covered. I know this may be a little bit of research for you to do at first, but everyone surfs the internet. So why wouldn't you take a little bit of time out? Once we get you set up into the program, research this on your end a little bit, and I'll touch back with you and show you what a few of our other members have used to save a little bit of money, for your costs and your benefits.
So that's a reactive approach, right? But let's go back to the proactive one, where all you want to do is just get it out on the table. You just want them to agree. Hey, if you said $5 out of every 100, it's not going to take any bread out of your off your taste. It's not going to take any cheese out of your macaroni, right? It's not going to change your lifestyle. If you at the $5, and when they agree to that, you said, okay, great. They just wanted to make sure, because they just didn't want us to show you something that you needed, but something that you couldn't afford. Like, yeah, we can. Okay, great. They just didn't want us to show you something that you needed, but you couldn't afford. And then from there, go into your presentation, back into you're going to say, all right, so the first benefit that they set up for you is this. The first concern that they wanted to address was this. And you're going to go into presenting to them the solutions. The other way that you can do this is called the hour power. So if you don't want to do the $5 out of every 100 question, you can also do this, one or the other, but it's nice to have them both in your toolbox. Sometimes you could use them both in the same home. Maybe they just didn't understand it when you said $5 out of every 100. So you figure maybe I'll use the hour power and give them that. So you guys want to hear the hour power? Okay, you probably heard it before, but all you do is you say, so Joe and Mary, you say, all right, Joe and Mary. So imagine we went into work on Monday, and the boss put everybody aside and said that they were going to give everybody an extra hour in our pay. So instead of taking home 40 hours, we're all going to take home 41 hours. Okay, that might feel pretty good, getting an extra hour. But we're probably not going to run home and book book a family trip to Disneyland and go buy a brand new Cadillac because we got 1 hour in our pay, right? Now, on the flip side, let's say that we went to work and the boss put everybody aside and said, we're going to have to cut everybody back by an hour this week. So instead of giving everybody 40, everybody's going to take home 39 hours. Okay, now we're taking home 1 hour less for the week. Might make a little bit of a difference, but we're probably not going to run home, cancel the cable, take the kids off the basketball team, and cancel the family vacations. Put the car off. We're not going to do that either. So either way, whether we got an extra hour in our pay or if we had to get cut back by an hour, either way, doesn't make that big of a difference. Wouldn't you guys agree? Right. So what they wanted to do is take that 1 hour that doesn't make that big of a difference, and they wanted to put it towards something that would. Let's take a look at what they recommended for you and your family. So you just say you went into work, the boss gave us an extra hour, we had 40 instead of 41. Might make a little difference, but we're not going to buy or take a dream vacation and get a Cadillac. Flip side, go to work, boss cuts us back by an hour, getting 39 instead of 40, cutting back by one. A little difference, but we're not going to sell the car and cancel the vacations either. Either way, it doesn't make that big of a difference, 1 hour. So I said, let's take that 1 hour that doesn't make a difference and let's put it towards something that would. So the first concern that they saw for you, Joe, was your funeral and final arrangements. So this first benefit they set up for you, was your freedom of choice certificate. And then you're going to slide right into their presentation. So just to transition through, walk us through, you hop on, hey, how's it going, Zoom? You're on Zoom. Joe and Mary, nice to meet you. I'm Tom Vino with American Income. You might even have your business card, might have a lanyard, you might have your license. You can pull it up on the screen, share it with them, right? Hey, here's my business card just to show you. Here's a little bit about our company as well. It's great to meet you guys. How long have you lived in the area? Are your parents still alive? Would you have a big family? What do you guys do for fun? What do you do down at your company? How long have you worked there? How'd you get teamed up with them? Do you have a lot of friends that work down there as well? What do the kids do? Build some rapport with them a little bit, get to know them. And then I say, okay, Joe, let me explain to you why I'm here. Your president, John Smith, contracted through us because your company, your group, your union, your organization, you guys have group term benefits. And that was one of the problems and concerns is that group term coverage that you have. So they contracted through us to make sure you guys have permanent benefits that are available to you. Because what your president, John Smith, found, and you're probably aware of this, is whether you quit, get fired, or retired, what typically happens to your benefits. They go away, especially when you retire. So I'm here today to go over your permanent benefits. Is going to make sure that if you can qualify, I hope you get them locked in place today. You have guaranteed permanent life insurance to be in place forever. And then you go over, probably never seen our company. Here's a little bit about our company. We don't do any advertising. We're the largest in the country. Here's a little video just to tell you a little bit about us. Okay, great. Then you're going to go over their no cost benefits. So here's your AD&D certificate. Here's how this works. Here's your child safety kit. Here's how this works. Here's your family information guide. Here's your free will kit. Here's your AL Plus card. Here's how all these work. Boom, boom, boom. Collect referrals off of that. By the end of that segment, you should have at least 10 referrals. After you get all your referrals and you get that part wrapped up, then you're going to say, okay, now, Joe and Mary, do you guys know the difference between whole life and term? There's a lot of different life insurance out there. All different types of names and everything. It can be confusing, really. But it really boils down to just two types. Are you familiar with term life and whole life and the differences of how both of them work? Little bit. Mary, yeah. Mary, Joe. So Mary, yeah. Joe, no. Okay, all right. Well, you know what? Let's just take a quick second here. Let's just make sure that we're all on the same page. Let's just make sure we're on the same page. So the key, guys, is whether they say, yes, I know everything about life insurance, or whether they tell me, no, they don't know nothing about life insurance. I'm going to say, okay, great. Let's just make sure we're on the same page. I'm going to go over it with them anyways. So I'm going to go over the difference between whole life and term with them, the if, the when, and everything in between. After I go over that, then I tell them, now your fourth benefit, now the next no-cost benefit they set up for you is your needs analysis. Typically, to have a needs analysis done, you would have to go see a financial advisor, and it would cost hundreds, sometimes even thousands of dollars to have a needs analysis. But your group set this up for you at no cost. So, so then I start. So the first question they ask you on here is your date of birth, okay, your income, and then how much insurance you have through work, how much do you have outside of work, and basically just fill out that needs analysis. As soon as the needs analysis is done being filled out, you're going to click next. Pops right up on the screen, mandatory read-off letter. So then you share that screen with them, and the screen should already be shared because I share it when I'm filling out the needs analysis. I let them see me filling it out. So let them see you fill it out. Share the screen, and then they're going to see so follow along as I read to you your mandatory read-off letter, Joe and Mary. So, dear valued member, the following benefits are being made available to you on a voluntary basis through the cooperation of your organization, which is the SEIU Local 742 and American Income Life, which is my organization. Please pay attention to your representative, which is me. And to the words I have to say, and if it makes sense, take advantage. If it don't, American Income Life has a long-standing history of working with the groups and its members. We have over $1 billion of life insurance in force and have, over a million policyholders, since 1970, since 1951, blah, 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 blah. Listen, guys, I don't have a letter. I'm just basically just reciting off the top of my head what I remember from the presentation. Okay. I haven't done the presentation for a long time. Okay. Like for a client, I don't need to do, that's what happens when you get in leadership. You don't have to do presentations anymore. So, but you're going to read the presentation. You're going to read that script to them. I remember reading it to them, but I was in the home reading it to them. So I would have a sheet of paper in front of me, and I would take my pen and I'd be reading them like, dear value member, please follow, and I'd be reading them the mandatory read-off letter. So after we read them the mandatory read-off letter, then we take it down from the screen. If I had it in front of them, I would pull it away and set it aside. And so that they had to look at me, right? So you want to look, and this is where you look them in the eye. You look at, this is like, see what happens, like right now, where am I looking, guys? I'm looking at myself right now. Where am I looking? I'm looking in the camera. I'm looking at Sabrina. I'm looking in the camera. I'm looking at Gabby. I'm looking in the camera. I got Enrique. You see my eyes in two different spots, kind of? Like when you find the camera and you look in the camera, it's different. So you have to master this on Zoom because we're not in person anymore. In person, it was a lot easier for me to just look someone in their eyes. So you can't really look, like, for me to look Sabrina in the eyes, I actually have to look over here. And it's like, doesn't make sense to me because you say, look them in the eyes. To look you in the eyes, I got to look at the camera, which means I don't get to look at anybody in their eyes. You know what I mean? Makes sense, guys? So like you gotta master this a little bit because the camera and the screen are in two different places. So if you look at yourself and you look at the actual people, you're going to be looking at the people, but to them, you're not looking at them. So this is a part where I would definitely master the part of So basically, Joe and Mary, as I'm going through the benefits and you're not in your head, you're thinking, wow, these are great benefits and it fits a need for your family. They're going to ask you to try and qualify and enroll into the program today while we're here during your service period. On the flip side, if as I go through the benefits, you're nodding your head, you think, oh, wow, this is a great program. I can see why they set this up and why everyone's taking advantage of it. but it just doesn't fit a need for your family, then today, then they're asking to actually try to not qualify for the program. But either way, they want to ask that we make a decision, yes or no, today, just in fairness to all the other members that are still waiting to enroll into their benefits. So the nice thing is it's pretty much a no-brainer. By the end, if I go through everything with you, Joe and Mary, you're going to know one way or not whether it fits a need for you and your family. They just didn't want for me to go through all the benefits with you, and at the end, you guys said something silly like you wanted to think about it or something. So they just wanted to make sure we got a good yes or no by the end, regardless. So you guys see the difference? How a little bit. All right, so we're gonna hit them with that. And then right after that, you're going to say, now, Joe and Mary, if I could just ask you at the end, if I can have you give a quick feedback to let me know how I did. I could send you a link and you could do a little review for me, just to make sure I didn't come on here and, I don't know, use this as like a chance to practice my guitar with you guys or something. Okay. Mo, you got a question?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, do you actually tell them, like, they just don't want people to ask something silly like, oh, we want to think about it. Do you actually say something silly like, do you say that?
Yes. Yeah. We actually, when we added that into the script, we actually, I'll just tell you, I don't know, just tell you, we had the word crazy in there. And, a couple people that I've worked with in the past, have, told me that some people might find it offensive.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Having the word crazy in there, crazy, because some people, they don't like to be called crazy, because some people are like literally they're on medications and stuff for that, right? So we switched it to silly.
Gotcha.
We switched it to the word silly, but yeah, that should be in your script for sure. And built in right there. After you say it's pretty much a no-brainer, you'll know one way or not whether it fits a need for your family. And they just didn't want us to me to go through the whole presentation with our time here today, and then at the end you say something silly like you wanted to think about it or something. So I just want to make sure we get a yes or no, and just in fairness to everybody. Does that make sense, Joe? So I definitely say that every time. That line, was added in there specifically because we needed extra understanding from our client of what I'm trying to tell them right now.
Gotcha.
Short of like, listen, dude, tell me anything in the world when I'm done, but you better not tell me I want to think about it. Like, you know what I mean? I wish I could say that to them, but that's the more scripted, polite way of kind of saying that.
Gotcha.
Makes sense though, right? All right, good question though. Yes, sir. Anything you hear me say, guys, I swear to you, I promise you, I say it to the client. This is not like it just sounds cute to say in training class. I don't have time for that. All I know is what I know. So it's not like I have a presentation where I do for my clients, but then I have this other presentation that I teach everybody. That wouldn't make any sense. I don't got time to live two lives. That'd be like me being married, but also having a girlfriend. Like, I don't got time for that shit. I'd get mixed up. I'd be telling her one thing, her another thing. And she'd be like, what are you telling me? They both be meeting me for lunch one day. I would get caught. So that'd be like me trying to teach you a presentation, but then I have to go give a client another presentation. Like, I mean, be saying the wrong words and it doesn't make no sense. Does it make sense? Right? So I don't have, what I say is what I say. That's all. It's what I say verbatim to a client. I say it to you. I'd say it to my mom. I'd say it to the guy on the street. I'd say it to the client in the home. If the president called me up at a company and said, Tommy, what do you say? I'd say, that's what I say. That's what I say. That's what I say.
I believe you now, Tommy. I believe you now.
Yes, feel me? So, plane's flying up. You hear that? You hear that plane up there?
Hey, what was our power, Tommy?
That's what I just did.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure about some of the examples and what it actually was. Interesting.
Yeah, so next thing is, after we go over the mandatory read-off letter paragraph after, the next thing we go over is what? I can't afford it, so I'm either going to hit them with A, the $5 question, or B, the hour power. The $5 question is simply, hey, Joe, they always make me ask. This is your segue. They always make me ask. If you were to set aside $5 out of every 100 that you took home and you set aside to protect your family, would that take food off your table or drastically change your lifestyle? You can even joke with them too. I mean, I don't know if it depends on the thing, but you know, if you were to set aside $5 out of every 100, would that take any cheese out of your macaroni? No, right? Most people say it wouldn't. Well, they just didn't want to show you something that you need, but you just couldn't afford. So the first benefit they set up for you is, and then you just go into going over their freedom of choice or their funeral benefit and talking about those problems and concerns, and then showing them the freedom of choice certificate as the solution. Or if you don't want to go over A, the $5 question, then you can say this. You go over B, the hour power, right? And what's the transition into that? They always make me ask. So regardless, so you have to ask, guys. You have to ask them either the $5 question, or you have to ask them the hour power. Why? Because they always make me ask. I was joking with somebody. I was like, do you want to know why I always ask the $5 question in every presentation? And they were like, so that you can beat the I can't afford a rebuttal, right? I was like, yeah, but that's not why I asked. You know why I asked the $5 question, guys? They always make me ask. Get it? That's my joke of the day. All right. So they always make me ask. If you were to set aside $5 out of every 100, right? Or they always make me ask. If you went to work on Monday, Joe, and they took everybody and set them aside, and they said, we're going to give you an extra hour in your pay, and you got 41 instead of 40 hours, well, that's going to feel pretty good. You made one extra hour, but you're probably not going to buy a new car and go on a dream vacation, right? Now, on the flip side, you got, they walked into work and the boss said, we're going to pull everybody aside and everybody's going to get 39 hours instead of 40 this week. So we get 1 hour less. Might make a little bit of a difference, but we're probably not going to run home and put the car up for sale and cancel all of our vacations for my family either. So whether we got an extra hour or lost that hour, either way doesn't make that big of a difference. So they said, let's put it towards something that would. So either way, you're hitting with A or B on that.
I have a question.
Okay. Yeah.
I have a question. Like, let's just say you do like write out and show them the 3 options, and then they hit you with the I can't afford it. Would you be willing to like maybe like make other calculations to bring in like maybe 2 new options that might work for them? Or you're just like, if it's not the 3, then that's it?
Well, I wouldn't immediately do that. You know, the as soon as somebody says we can't afford it, you don't want to get into the habit of just like, oh, you can't afford it? Okay, well, how about $40? How about 30? How about 20? How about 10? You know, like that's kind of what'll happen. So you want to kind of stick to what you're selling them and why you're selling it to them. And you want to try and work them into affording these options that you put up there. You do, because you put them up there for a reason, you know, and anything less than that is going to provide inadequate coverage for them. So what you can do to reduce down though, is you can keep the benefit the same and reduce the cost a little bit by adjusting the type of coverage and stuff. So, but to answer your question is how we're going to pretty much close is anytime you get hit with a rebuttal, okay, you're going to have some sort of formal like system to what you're going to do to handle that. So this is Steve Greer's rebuttal system. And this will kind of answer your question a little bit too. So you put the options up there, you give them their recommended coverage, and they're like, I can't afford that. You know what? I need to think about this. We can't do this today. or I don't need this, right? So they hit you with one of those rebuttals. So here's what you do, okay? The first, it's a process. So you can write the Steve Greer's rebuttal system, okay? Step number 1, proactively beat the rebuttal during your presentation. Step number 1. Proactively beat the rebuttal during your presentation. Well, that's pretty much what we just did. We proactively beat, I don't need it, I can't afford it, and I want to think about it. We proactively beat those 3 things in our presentation. So as long as you hit those points, you drive them home, the client, you say, does that make sense? I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. We on the same page? Yeah, we're on the same page. So if the client understands it, now at the end, if they hit you with a rebuttal, okay, step number 2 goes like this. Agree. So step number 1, make sure that you already proactively beat the rebuttal during your presentation. If you don't do that, none of this stuff is going to work. Okay. So if you skip around your presentation, you're not on script, you might miss some of this stuff and then this don't work. But if you do the presentation the right way and you handle that stuff, like I'm telling you, like we just went over a bunch of times. I went over this a lot with you guys today. Like I could have did this in a half hour. Just so you know, I could have been in here a half hour, ripped it and been out. But I'm going over and over to make sure we're getting this stuff down. So as long as we said all that, step number 1, we did it. Step number 2, they hit you with the rebuttal, right? What do you do? What's step number 2 say? What do? Argue with them? Disagree?
Agree.
The feel, felt, found method.
Do you say no, you're wrong? Do you say you're wrong to the client? Do you tell the client that they're wrong?
No.
Do you say no? Do you shake your head and say no to a client? Do you say, I disagree with you? Do you talk over them when they're talking to you?
No.
So you know what? I don't think I can afford this because, well, Joe, I think we already went over this. Didn't I tell you that we had a mandatory read-off letter? Is that how you handle it, guys? No. Let the client talk. Let them say whatever the hell they want to say. Let them get it off their chest. And you just go like this. Oh, I can understand. I can agree with that. I agree with you. Yep, I understand. I agree with you completely. I can agree with that. Yeah, I agree. You agree. You say it. You say the word. Can everybody say, yeah, I agree? Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I understand. I agree. Can you say that? You guys, that's step 2. How hard was that? Like, it don't matter what they tell you. I don't care what they tell you. They could be saying, well, I was going to go buy Doritos, but then I was going to get Fritos. But then I said, maybe I'll get some Cheetos. And I'm like, Cheetos, Fritos, Doritos. Heck, I can't afford life insurance. And you're like, yeah, I can agree with you. Makes sense. Fritos, Lay's, makes sense. Like, it don't matter. Whatever they tell you, you got to agree with it, okay? All right. Step 2. Step 3 now. Step 3 goes like this, okay? Proceed back to where you already handled that rebuttal. So it's agree and proceed. Agree and proceed. Agree with the rebuttal, proceed back to where you already handled it and remind them of what you just went over. Simple. Okay, I agree. Makes sense for sure. I understand. Okay, great. And that all makes sense for sure, Joe. But if you could just remember back when in the presentation when I was explaining that they had that mandatory read-off letter, one of the biggest reasons they have that out there is just because they wanted to make sure that we, we're clear that they asked us to just make a decision today, yes or no, whether it fits a need for your family. So they asked us, if it fits a need, to try and qualify, because the biggest thing is qualifying for the benefits. But if it doesn't fit a need, to ask you to try and not qualify. Either way, they just wanted us to make a decision today, which is in fairness to all the members, because we can't come back and meet with you guys until your next enrollment period. So guys, that's step 3. Okay. Step 4 is the most important thing, is making sure that you get your foot in the door with the benefits, but we keep it comfortable for you at the same time. So I know, I understand, if you want to think about it, but what we'll do today is we'll make sure the most important thing is just to make sure that you get your foot in the door with the benefits, but keep it comfortable at the same time. So what we're going to do today for you, what we'll do today is we'll make sure, Joe, that you're able to get your foot in the door with the benefits, but we'll also make sure that you keep it comfortable at the same time. The most important thing is making sure that you get your foot in the door with the benefits at some level, somewhere. So we'll make sure we get your foot in the door with the benefits, but we'll make sure we keep it comfortable for you at the same time, okay? And then you could go into any close you want from there. But I just want to keep you on these 4 steps from now. I don't want to confuse us. Does everybody got those 4 steps? Somebody had a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, so in the beginning in your intro, you related it to them being a union member, and some other points were related to that, we spoke with your president and stuff. What if it's a child safe kit or a free will kit or something?
Yeah, good question. Good question. So for the free will kit or the child safety kit even, I'd say what I typically tell them is I tell them that our company, is contracted through 40,000 different unions, credit unions, and associations worldwide. And typically to have access to these benefits, you typically have to be part of one of these organizations, and typically pay dues to be part of these organizations. But because of the International Union of Police Associations, the American Federation of Teachers, and the American Firefighters Association, they were able to get these child safety kits out to the families right now at no cost. So typically, so right now would be your enrollment period. And the reason that the company exists is because they provide all these organizations with their guaranteed permanent life benefits. Because you could imagine, Joe and Mary, that when you work for a company, most companies provide benefits to their employees, right? Most companies do. Well, what typically happens to those benefits if you ever leave a company is, let's say you quit, you get fired, you retire. What typically happens to those benefits? They typically go away, right? So these organizations, they contract, even the police, the fire, they contract through the nurses. We work with the nurses, the roadway workers, the Teamsters, all those organizations. And we provide them with all their guaranteed permanent life benefits. So today, during your enrollment period, today, I'll be able to go over all your benefits that are available to you. You have the child safety kits, that were set up already for you. And you're going to actually have access to exclusive benefits that are typically only exclusive to due paying members. But I'll make sure I go over those options for you. And if it makes sense, I'll help you. I'll show you guys how to enroll and make sure that you get activated and have your guaranteed permanent life benefits set up, or something like that. So you tee it up like that, if that makes sense. Very similar stuff. Just at the beginning, you're just telling them, that our company typically provides benefits to them, but because we're teamed up with the free will kit program, that you're going to have access today to all the same benefits that the police and the firefighters have access to, but you don't have to put on a gun on your hip and pay the union dues to be a policeman, but you're going to have access, and you're going to even get it at the same rates that the police have access to as well. So if you're able to qualify, lucky you, for a limited time, you could potentially qualify for these exclusive benefits. There used to be a saying we used to call lucky, limited, qualify. Lucky you for a limited time. If you qualify, you might be able to take advantage of the same exclusive benefits that are only available, typically exclusive to due-paying members of our organizations that we're responsible for service. So that's kind of the thought process on it. Hopefully, yeah, it answers your question there.
Hey Tommy, how does the freedom of choice certificate solve the funeral cost issue?
Okay. I'll go over that briefly. But let me stick on this for a minute, okay? What are the 4 steps now, guys? What are the 4 steps? Number 1, proactively handle it during the presentation. Number 2, agree with them. Number 3, proceed back to the presentation where you already beat it. And oh, that makes sense. I agree with you. However, if you could remember how I was going over the hour power and how they felt they could set aside 1 hour because it doesn't, make a difference either way, right? So that's 3. Remind them of what you already went over and repeat it to them. Literally go back to that. It's like if you're a video, like a tape, just kind of rewind the tape and then go back to, and then press play and repeat yourself. Does that make sense? Just repeat it. You're allowed to say the same thing over and over to the clients. Sometimes we think that we can only say it once. Well, I already said that to them before. Well, say it again. It's okay. So, number 4 says this, right? Proceed to close them down. So 4 goes, step 4 is the most important thing is making sure that we get your foot in the door, but keep it comfortable at the same time. And then you go into reducing them down and getting their foot in the door, but keeping it comfortable at the same time. Now, I'm going to give you guys a close that you can add to the end of this, okay? Here's what you can say right at the end of this. You say, so the most important, so Joe, back in the, oh, that makes sense. You can't afford it. That makes sense. I agree. I understand how you can't afford it. I understand. However, if you could just remember how, they asked us to go over the hour power program, which the unions have done for years, because they felt that, if we were going to go to work, we get that extra hour. They're going to, and I'll go through the whole thing with them. Get an extra hour. They're not going to buy a new car or go on a dream vacation. 41 over 40. But if you had to go 39 and they cut you back by the hour, you get 1 hour less, you're probably not going to cancel. So what they said is 1 hour either way doesn't make that big of a difference. So instead of put it towards something that would, like obviously protecting, our family. So the most important thing, Joe, is today is just making sure that we get your foot in the door with the benefits for you and your family, but also making sure that we keep it comfortable at the same time. Okay. So if I had to ask you guys, they always say, if you got a question, they say, what is the most important thing in the world to you, right? So if I had to ask you guys that, Joe and Mary, what would you say would be the most important thing in the world to you? Family? Yeah, most people say family, right? Now, let's say you had to put a price tag on your family, right? What would you say your family is worth to you? How much money in the world?
Priceless.
Priceless, right? You can't put a price on your family. That's tough, right? So something that's just absolutely priceless. But fortunately for us, Joe and Mary, they were able to put a price on protecting our family, which was actually only $20 a week, less than a coffee, less than a cable bill, less than a cell phone bill. But if I had to ask you, Joe and Mary, when do you think the most important time to start protecting our family is?
Right now?
Yeah, right. Probably yesterday, right? So that's why, Joe and Mary, that's why they put this plan and developed this plan for you and your family, you know? And if I had to, you know, mention to you, most families that we meet with, their family, they love their family a lot, right? They don't plan to fail, especially when you're planning things out for family. I mean, nobody's planning to fail. The problem is they fail to plan. Most families, they just fail to have that plan. And for you, Joe, they call this is the family plan for the family man. And that's you. I know you just said the family is the most important thing in the world to you, right? So today, we'll make sure that we are able to get your foot in the door with these benefits. The best benefits you could possibly have for your family are right here. There's no company out there that is better. I can assure you of that. So if you're going to protect your family, might as well have the best coverage as well. So we'll make sure we get your foot in the door. Once you lock in with these benefits, Joe and Mary, they're going to be yours forever. No one can ever take them away from you. So you can quit, get fired, retire, leave your organization. You could be 99 years old. You could move across country. Heck, you could be living in an igloo in Alaska. It don't matter wherever, however, whenever you pass away, these are going to be guaranteed for you and your family forever. And they will never go up or down. So no one's going to call you telling you you owe more money, calling you, telling you you're going to lose these benefits. And they're all under your independent control. So these are member owned and member controlled. So you can increase these benefits down the line. We can add family members to them. We can make any adjustment that you need to your benefits. The most important thing, though, is making sure that we get your foot in the door with these benefits for you and your family today, so you never have to worry about that again. And they always say that you're always one doctor's visit away from becoming what they say uninsurable, because they want you to lock in while you're young and while you're healthy. The older that we get, the more it's going to cost. And the older that we get, our health typically goes down. So they recommend to try and lock in with as much coverage as you can when you are young. So we want to make sure we get your foot in the door today. Now, Joe and Mary, okay, everybody always wants to try and qualify for these benefits, but unfortunately, not everyone can. So I need to make sure that you guys can even qualify first. While you think about what's best for your family, let's make sure you can even qualify. And that's some stuff you can say at the end to close them down.
Sold.
Good?
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure about anybody else, but you definitely sold me on it, bro.
So I have your birth date, Mo, is 2/14/77.
Yes, sir. Sign me up.
Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
So yeah, that's I mean, I don't want to keep going over it. And the answer to freedom of choice is just question, man. I mean, it's a pretty basic thing. I mean, it's freedom of choice certificate. It's long. I mean, to answer that question, I don't even know how to. It'd be a long answer that I don't want to get into.
I really like, Tommy, the way you use the paraphrase, because I saw the paraphrase list, like different paraphrases, and I'm like, how am I supposed to put that in my script? But then you were like, this is a family plan for a family man. And I'm like, it clicks right there.
See that? So you seen them power phrases. Good
Yes,
stuff,
sir.
man. Good stuff. You're studying your shit.
Yeah, that's how you do it, man. Gotta get that house, man.
Make sure-
it took you 12 years. I'll probably go there in 3 years, 4 years. I don't know. You got big dreams,
Come on.
bro.
Let's go. Well, now you can do it more than ever. Yeah, you can recruit from all over, man. It's
Yeah,
nuts.
man.
You can blow stuff up, and I'm here to ride with you to get you guys there quicker. I'd love to see you guys do it a lot faster than me, for sure. You know, that's what a parent. That's what a parent does. Parent wants the kids to have better than them. You know, so
Right.
you guys gotta outdo it. But way to study your stuff, guys. Make sure you're doing what Mo's doing and be a student of the game. Be a student of the game. You know, the playbook has the power phrases in it, so you can get them from the playbook. So ask your manager for the playbook if you don't got that yet. They can email that over to you. And the power phrases are cool, you know. And you guys see, I did the script, right? Still doing the script. 12 years in the game. I don't make nothing up. I do the script, man. For pretty much what's in that playbook. That's all I do. Just add a little bit of personality to it and everything. But hopefully today helped. Rebuttals. Handling them proactively, handling them reactively. Just remember, we don't want to get them rebuttals. So the more you can just drive home the proactive upfront in your presentation, the better it's going to be for you. All right. So thanks for your time. We did no breaks today. So you guys are officially soldiers of the classroom on Zoom. Plus me, give me some props. I talked for like how long now?
Thanks for your
Non-stop.
time, Tom. Thanks for your time.
Nailed
It's
it.
all valuable.
I'm like,
It's good,
you guys
man.
are bunnies.
Thank
I've been going since 8 a.m. I was in the
Wow.
office. I came out here. I went back in the office. I'm back out here. There's 4 Zoom sessions going on right now. I don't even know what time it is. I got a meeting at 3:30, so I got to make sure I'm on time for that. What time is it? Is it 3:30?
250.
2:50?
Yeah.
Hey, okay, all right, cool. I can take a little break here. Sounds good.
We'll make sure.
All
We'll
right,
make sure
guys.
to
Look
make
at
you proud,
relief.
Tommy. Hopefully this time is not wasted. We'll make you proud, brother.
I'm already proud of you guys. Have a
Thank
great
you.
day today.
Thank
You
you.
as well.
See ya.
Thank you.
Bye bye.